Okay. Hello and welcome to GDT Surrey. I am Preeti. I'm the organizer of this group. This you're looking at ML Paper Reading Club Surrey number 4. Please ignore the number on the recording. This is session number 4, and today we will talk about hooks and academic writing. Um, I forgot to share my screen, so let me quickly do that. I hope you see my screen now. Perfect. With us, we have Anuj, who is a leader at ADP. He's an IEEE senior member. He's an amazing mentor and technical writer and author. He will be talking about academic writing today. Let's move on and let's talk business. So, well, we talked about writing good introductions, abstracts, and good or do's and don'ts. We did talk about how to get set up as a researcher, but as a student, let me start with this: that as a student and researchers, we understand the rigorous work. Rigorous work involved in crafting a research paper. Uh, we literally meticulously gather evidence and analyze data and construct a compelling argument. However, the success of our hard work often depends on the first impression our paper makes on our readers. And this is where the hooks in writing comes into play. Uh, Consider an example just like an opening scene in a movie or the first few measures of an engaging song. A well crafted hook is crucial for drawing your audiences into your research. So, the primary purpose of a hook is to capture your reader's attention right away. In the busy world of academia, where readers often have numerous papers to review, a strong hook can really help make your work stand out. Let me see. What do we have next? Okay. So our introduction, starting with the hook, is our reader's first chance to discover anything about our research paper, our research itself, not the paper. And a compelling hook helps shape the initial perception, their initial reader's initial perception of our work, right? It engages the reader and makes them motivated to read the piece of writing that until the end, right? Otherwise, they'll lose interest, and so we have to make it engaging as well, as important as our research is, right? Okay, so all we want is to spark a curiosity in our reader and let them wonder what happens next. It's literally a story writing, to be honest, but more. Uh, I wouldn't call it story writing, probably, but yes, you do want to grab your reader's attention till the end of it, right? Okay. Um, well, now, if you see the reader engagement, it doesn't happen just like that, right? It only, I think the way, one of the ways to for the reader engagement is also one, the what happens next, right? Also, you make sure that your paper, by introducing those hooks, uh, you make sure that the reader thinks that the paper is worth reading and it's not just a waste of their precious time, right? So let's think of it as an initial entry point, which helps to introduce reader to your helps you introduce your reader your topic, and it and a powerful hook can really boost reader engagement right from the beginning. Okay, because it's a very small topic, so probably we'll cover it in detail. Yet it will be quick. Okay, so types and examples, we'll take care of the example later, but let's look at what types of hooks there can be. Different sources might tell you a different set of hook type, but these are the four major that I could compile. So let's talk about the first one. This type of hook offers valuable information um, to your readers and can prove your expertise on the topic. Numbers are always a powerful way to make a point, and the only thing that I would say that you need to take care of that this information is reliable, right? And it's from the credible source. So if it is your research that brings the number, your research is now serves as a could serve as a credible source now by stating the statistics or surprising facts that you found out, right? Um, you can go ahead and, as part of your research, you can choose facts and statistics that directly relate to your topic. Provide context. If the meaning of the number might not be immediately clear, you want to provide the context in that case. Next one, the quotation hook. Um, you must have come across couple of papers where the researchers, they start with a relevant quote from an expert in the field that the paper is about, or at least a well-known person's quote, which makes it a perfect hook for that particular paper, right? So the quote should be inspirational. The point is to make it thought-provoking, right? And also make sure that, of course, it's relevant to the topic. You can try to quote the words exactly, right? Try to choose the quotes that are striking, powerful, and memorable. And again, if possible, and not if possible, I think it would be great to provide context for those quotes too, right? Next one, interesting question hooks. We also say that questions can be provocative, they can be rhetorical, right? So posing a thought-provoking question related to your research can stimulate curiosity, which is our point, and initiate. It can invite readers to reflect at the same time, right? Ask questions that your paper will address or answer later. So start by that question, right? Consider asking questions that challenge assumptions. Keep the question very concise and clear. Avoid questions with simple yes or no, because that does not really invite readers to reflect on anything, or it does not really stimulate their curiosity, to be honest. So that's where the question hooks come into the picture. Be mindful that some of the sources out there also pointed that these questions are less common in formal research papers compared to speeches or articles. So if you feel I would say still, when you're using question hook, try to see other papers of the similar nature as well, and see if there's really something, some kind of question you can come up with, which would be really thought provoking. It shouldn't just drift. It shouldn't just take the attention from the paper away, like fully, right? Okay. Now, next one, strong statement or declaration hook. It can This kind of hook can easily show the importance of your research paper and convince your audience to find out what your paper is about. Um, you can think of it as if you are making an assertive claim about your topic. Um, Right. So it should be relevant to, of course, your thesis statement, whatever it is. And even if readers disagree, they will likely want to see how you support your statement that you started with. Uh, well, before we move on to an example, okay. A couple of things that we want to keep in check, right? That we know our purpose, so we understand the message we want to convey in our research, and that's how we'll identify the most suitable type of hook. We can To narrow down to which kind of hook we want, we can conduct additional research to find interesting and relevant hook ideas. And now that we have LLMs and we have a couple of tools which are being used actively to conduct research, we can always ask them to help us brainstorm with more relevant hook ideas. Look for information from credible sources, like scientific journals and researches. Normal articles, there are portals which have articles, and they claim that they are tech articles, but I wouldn't advise you to just go and follow them, but try to follow the credible sources when you're looking for hooks and their examples, right? And that also consider connecting to your thesis always, right? Your hook should create a logical and smooth transition to your thesis statement. It should introduce broader theme that your thesis will specifically argue, in this research paper. Try considering your audience, not try, consider your audience. Think of what would interest them into this specific field of study, right? Well, being concise and focused is always advisable, because if it is lengthy, it can again drift your reader's attention to some other business, right? Consistently maintain relevance. In this case, to the topic of your research, right? Now, how do you learn it over time? Well, practice and experiment is the key. Try writing few different hooks, okay, uh, okay before setting before you present it somewhere, right? Try to get the feedback and see which one makes it more appealing to the readers, right? Okay. um, Now let's go ahead and check this example. Let me share the original paper real quick. So there is not much. There's sorry, this was randomly selected paper, just based on RAG. Okay, and I thought of doing an example on this one. So from here, we are only taking these two lines. We present RAG Playground, an open source framework for systematic evaluation of RAG systems, right? So this is right now is this is a direct statement, and there is nothing wrong with it. All we are trying to do is that, okay, if we had to rewrite it with a different hook, how would we write it? And I'll try to give you an example, give examples from each category one by one. So just for our reference, we have it here. So let's start with. Okay, did I change the order? Allow me a minute. Oh, here. Okay. Okay. So the hook, if you see, we use some statistics, which was already given in the abstract, but we use it to create the hook, right? And the hook here, it leads with a surprising statistics for the reader that's taken directly from. You don't have the original abstract here, but you can check it in the given link, and it's 72.7% pass rate that they mention, and so on, right? So consider this, and people love to learn new things, starting with surprising or little known facts. And it can be a great way to capture their attention, because now they want to know more, right? And numbers don't lie, and sometimes they can be the most powerful way to make a point. So it's the same abstract, but we are trying to put a hook that is a static hook, right? artistic hook. So by immediately presenting this compelling result, we are really trying to disrupt readers' passivity and spark interest in our content, our paper's content, right? Now, question hook. The true measure of an AI system lies in its rigorous evaluation, one expert might say. Right, sorry, quotation. So now here's the thing. This abstract does not contain a quotation, as you might have noticed by now, but we tried it. So this hook, particularly, it begins with a quotation attributed to a hypothetical expert. So there is not really a real expert here. It's just an example, but a relevant quote from an expert in this field would make the perfect hook and can help build credibility to our writing, and it can pique our readers' interest here. So go ahead and you can always try to find different experts who have good quotations in the same field. Right. Okay. So, interesting question, Hook. How can researchers effectively navigate the complexity of RAG systems to ensure optimal information retrieval and response quality? Um, Honestly, in this context, I really love this question. Now, what is happening here when we hear or read a question, right? We want to know the answer, as I said. And by posing this question, we're stimulating curiosity again and making reader wonder how, in particular example, right? In this case, it's Rag Playground. How in this example, um, the authors are providing solutions or insights into complex issue, right? And it immediately draws a reader's attention. We do want to know the answer right away. And if I'm the reader reading this paper, I'm curious about the topic anyways, and this takes me again in this will keep me hooked to read it further, right? But maintaining it is another thing. Okay. Next step, declaration or strong statement. The systematic and comparative evaluation of retrieval approaches is fundamental to advancing the performance of RAG systems, right? Now, this particular one here, it aims to make a powerful first impression by clearly stating key principle and then immediately introducing the framework that the authors used as a direct response to the fundamental needs. So this technique has the potential to again grab your reader's attention by initially surprising them with how you intend to support your arguments, right? Um, so yes, that's the strong statement they make. But one thing to remember here is the best hook for your abstract will depend on the specific audience you're trying to reach and the overall tone you want to set for your paper. So choose one of the hooks you think is most effective in your research in the domain and grabbing your reader's attention. Because all you want by this exercise, all you want is uh, to to grab your reader's attention and to make them want to learn more about your research, right? So that's pretty much it with the hooks. We already mentioned this. But yes, maintaining relevance is one thing throughout the paper. You have different sections, and then you start different sections with a hook. That's how it will go on. And with that, I think the hook section is done. Anuj, you can go ahead, and then we can always discuss the doubts.
So thanks, Preeti. That was very informative. So, with that being said, one of the critical aspects of a research paper is academic writing. And this is one of the very first mistakes I did, uh, specifically when you come from an academia. background, or if you're working somewhere, and technically we are used to writing our essays or reports in more informal way and more easygoing languages. But academic writing is a little different. It involves formality, using proper language, grammar, uh, no slangs or contractions. Those things should not be part of your paper. You use a proper language, and again, re-emphasizing on our point we discussed previously, we should, even if we came up with a hypothesis and we were unable to prove it to be true through our research, we still present the facts and facts only, without any biases, and use specific terminologies and clear definitions. Uh, this is a scientific paper, and and as such, it's expected that users will use the scientific language as well. Uh, and for that, and we'll see examples of all of this in a little bit, so it'll make more sense. And again, the whole paper should follow a logical structuring. I have reviewed several papers, and I see this being one of the key deficiencies, where sections do not flow in harmony. There should be clear organization of your entire paper. This is a critical, another important aspect. Paper should be in third person perspective, and generally avoiding the first person perspective, like you, I, we, and so on and so forth. And tying back to our specific terminologist point, right? It has to be uh, technical words that you use in your paper, and not like a general. This is not a newspaper clip where you can fantasize the language just for, you use the hooks, you use the captivating language while adhering to this academic writing fundamentals, to ensure that the language is following on, and then uh, just give me a second. So yes, so that's the main thing. So just give me a second. What did I say this? So we can move on to next slide. So all of this are will make sense when pretty we can move to next slide. One back, one back.
Sorry.
So here is an example of what the same term in non-academic versus academic writing is. So for example, our AI got really good at spotting cats in the picture after we showed it a lot of examples. Here, the problem is we are talking in first person perspective with uh, some slang and no specificity of how, what, and whatnot, and there are no technical terminologies. Instead, the same statement can be rewritten as the convolutional neural network. See how we are tying in the technical, real scientific term. The convolutional neural network achieved a higher classification accuracy following extensive training on a large scale uh, feline image dataset. Now, this is a bit too much of academic. You can use a simpler language, but it has to be still third party and using the right technical terminologies. First time you refer to CNNs in your paper, you should define it as convolutional neural networks. And then going forward, you can use CNNs, but for the first time, you should give the clear definition. And the next is Next example is we fix the model by tweaking how it learned from new data. This statement is not telling us anything. As a scientific academic paper reader who is looking for facts and learnings and trying to get new information out of it, this statement doesn't convey anything. And this can fall flat very easily. The same statement should be academically written as the model's performance was enhanced through optimization of gradient descent parameters and implementation of adaptive learning rate technique. Now, here specific techniques and parameters uh, and everything has been talked about, and this single statement can spark the writing of an entire paragraph. Then you can dive deeper into each of these statements, and 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 this becomes a great hook statement itself for the users to sort of technical readers to latch on to while maintaining the academic writing. Now, this a little, as I was saying, this all of the statements are a little high scale. Even if your language is not, we are not writing English literature paper, so if your language is not there at this level, that's okay. But still, the technical terms, the third-party language, and specificity should be there. Let's look at third example. The results show that our approach works better than our other methods when data is messy. Now, there's a slang, there is third party, there is everything. It's still accurate statement. You're trying to convey good details, but it's not telling me anything. Now, academic is experimental evaluation demonstrates that proposed methodology outperforms the existing algorithms when applied to datasets characterized by high noise and significant outliers. Now, again, here we have specificity, a third person language, and diving deeper into a technical terminologies to open up entire discussion on how the models perform better. So see, writing in academic way, not only A is a requirement for scientific research papers, but B, it also gives an opening for expanding and explaining the concepts and findings and results in more uh, granular manner.
Do you want me
Next,
to move the
uh,
screen?
next, I think we are done. I mean, with
Yeah,
the examples, there's not much to it. I don't want to confuse too much, but this
right.
is academic writing as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. This was good. Good examples. Because while writing, we sometimes get so much involved with uh, in that zone, right? We are so much in that zone that we tend to overlook the sentence structures, and we end up using one or the other slang. So, which is awesome. And this does not just, I think this is just not about writing. Even when we are speaking, right? In our speeches as well, I have seen some people have the content so structured, and even if it is random question, throw you throw at them, and they still try to make it well structured answers, while on the other hand, if it is not practiced, if you don't practice your delivery well, mm, slangs will happen, I think, automatically. But yes, I think it's an active effort, so that was amazing, Anuj. And yes, with that, I think we are towards the end of our session. Making your research paper unforgettable, that's the purpose, and it helps towards building you as a build your credibility, right? When you speak well in writing, when you write well, right, in your research papers, you have people's attention. They read the entire research you wrote, and that's where they'll start to look forward to your next adventures, next papers, and that's how you build credibility in this tech and science community. So I think that's pretty much it for today. And with this will be our last session for this particular cohort. But you can always reach out to our Discord channel. which is given on GDG Surrey's homepage. You can reach out to me and Anuj on LinkedIn, and we would love to help you with your research journey. Let us know, Anurup, if you have any questions.
Oh, no, 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 it was very clear. Yeah, enjoyed it. Well put as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're
With
welcome.
this, we'll
Bye.
stop recording.